Hey everybody, welcome to Getting Stoked. Want to jump in real quick and tell everyone how you can connect with the show. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for constant updates, events, and whatever ramblings and going on I might be involved with. I always want to connect with listeners and be as accessible as possible. So if you're interested in coming on the show, or maybe you just want to shoot the shit, hit me up at gettingstokedpodcast@gmail.com or any of the aforementioned social media websites. Always feel free to send me links to your music, and if I'm into it, I'll hit you back. You guys are everything to me, and it really means the world that anyone listens, so thank you so fucking much. Enough with the chuffa, let's get on with the show. Oh, what's up? How's it going? See, there we go.
Good, man. Doing well.
Just like that. I'm happy to see you. Got some brews, man.
Excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here. We were just talking about your tattoos on the way up here. I love the old school microphone.
Thank you,
that
man.
you have too. That's the one that I always see in pictures.
Yeah.
Photographers seem to like
that one
seek
seems
that
to
out.
stand out. Yeah.
So okay, the first thing I immediately have to ask you is,
For sure.
I always see L West being cited as a power group, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, what does that mean exactly?
You know,
is that just a branding thing?
it is a good
what is
question.
that?
I think it's more so of just like a branding thing. It seemed to come up in like some of the original branding that we did. Bryant seemed to come up with it. I think just because we all have such like an extensive background in the Phoenix music scene, as well as just music in general.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's mainly where it came from.
Got it.
It's it kind of throws me off sometimes. I'm like, man, that kind of sounds
Power
a little
group.
cheesy, but like, hey, I'll take it. If for a power
No,
group,
it's cool.
for a power group,
So
I'll take it.
So what is your history like then? Like, how many were you in a bunch of bands previous to OS?
I was, yeah. I started out, God, I think I was like 14 when I like started my first band.
Got it.
It was a metal band.
Okay, what kind of metal band?
Like straight up old school, like,
Heavy metal?
yeah.
Okay.
Like Metallica metal.
Got it. All right.
And we played some shows here and there, but never really did much. But that band kind of ended up leading into, I guess, my first main band where, we were really pushing and playing a ton of shows and having a lot of like local success at least. But it was a band called East of Eden.
Oh, okay. I know that.
Just like a screamo band. But we, just kind of, started from the bottom as we all do. And I think that kind of started forming when we were like 16 years old or so. And by the time we were 18, we were playing marquee a bunch, and we were always opening for, touring acts coming through town, but we were playing in front of a lot of people all the time, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
And then from there, that band broke up like pretty soon after I started college. And then I started a band with my girlfriend, who is now my wife.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was, I guess, kind of like a blend of like Seosin and Paramore.
Okay.
Like, had female fronted band, but still kind of had like a little bit of a heavier edge to it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then actually after that, I ended up taking quite a bit of time off. I got into managing restaurants, and that just kind of ended that for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
Until like 2 years ago, when just randomly met Bryant, and things kind of started there, and we just really clicked. And the owners of the restaurant I work for now are like, hey, this is a passion for you. You need to be pursuing it. So like, take the time you need. We'll make it work here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really, really good situation.
So you said you met Bryant randomly. How did that work?
Yeah, I at the time I had moved from Arcadia down to like the Uptown area, like 16th and Bethany Home kind of area. And Bryant works at a coffee shop and cafe called Lucy's Healthy Marketplace.
Okay.
And went in for coffee one morning. We just started talking, and then, after a few visits, it came up that he was a musician, I was a musician, and it just kind of started from there. So
that's awesome.
Just pretty I guess organic.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix this microphone.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go. All right,
Cool.
we're good. So Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I wish I met more people organically.
Yeah.
I feel like so many of the people that I just meet through Facebook or online,
For
even
sure.
like dating and shit.
For sure.
The past like 6 years, it's just been like meeting girls online or whatever. I don't know how to like.
I
meet
feel
people
like
in
it's
general
just
almost.
been made so easy.
It's so
You
fucking
know, like
convenient.
it's just so convenient.
I don't have to leave my comfort zone at all.
Exactly.
It's been really, really nice, but I mean, one day it's just gonna go dark, and we're gonna have to figure out how to we're gonna build clubs and shit.
Yep.
So you two started. So does that mean that you two started it, or did he already have kind of an L West plan going on?
L West was actually already a band. They were really just like one EP into things. He had a band previous to L West called Prague that had kind of, I guess, just ended, and some of the members went over to L West when they first started. And then when I met him, he was actually looking for a whole new band. It was just him at the time. He was playing some, acoustic gigs and stuff like that. But, he had this book of songs ready to go, and we just kind of dove in, and it just clicked really, really well. And I ended up bringing in Marty, our drummer, who I've known for, maybe 8 years now. Had actually never worked with him in a band, but he was like a drum tech and studio musician for a couple of producers that I had worked with in town, and he was always in house. And at the time, the last project I had worked on was just solo. I had written all the instrumentation, just needed a drummer to play on them, and Marty was the one that always came in to play on them. So he's a killer drummer though, and he was the first person I went to.
Yeah, I know. I've never met any of you guys other than you just now, but I know of Marty because he did Rock Lottery. Was it last year or the year before? And he did drums for the singer of American Longspurs, who is like one of my favorite bands.
Killer. I
love Zach, and I love that band so much. So I work with Zach, the singer of American Longspurs, and he was always talking about like how he's like, yeah, one of the guys from L West, and I was like, oh, like who? That's so cool. Who is it? So I kind of know of him because that show was really cool.
For sure. Yeah, he's an insane drummer, and he works closely with Corey Spots, who is a staple in the Arizona recording scene. And so he's basically Corey's drum tech. Anytime Corey's got a band in, he goes in and helps like tune up the kits and just makes everything sound good. And then he plays on a lot of records for artists from Phoenix that don't necessarily have a drummer, handy, ready to go. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it seems like from the research that I did, it seems like L West always kind of had a plan to try and really make this something special. Like every band obviously wants to be something special, but
absolutely,
there seems like there was a conscious decision to make L West something different and very special. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so. I think we're all kind of at the point in our lives where it's we just want to make this happen.
Yeah.
Whatever that takes, we want to make it happen. And I think we all have such a shared interest in music taste, I guess. And everything's just like super cohesive, and it just works so well together. Everything just flows. And I feel like this is by far like the most, I don't know, it's got like this project just has something special compared to anything else I've ever been in, where everybody just works so well together, and the writing comes like so naturally. It's unreal.
Really? So what is that? Do you guys just sit down and work on stuff back and forth together, or what?
Yeah, so I guess it all kind of comes down to every Monday morning for the last 2.5 years. Me and Bryant have gotten together in the mornings on Monday and just basically lock ourselves in a room and just write.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I guess all the ideas stem from that, and then Monday nights we practice full band. So we take anything that's come up Monday morning to full band Monday night, just run through it. But it's I mean, within the first like 6 months, we just had a book of songs. Like it's been crazy. everything just happens so easily and flows really, really well.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I'm always jealous of people of bands that sit together in a room and come up with like riffs together and guitar parts and melodies together. Like the band that I'm in is very like it's easy for me because the singer just like writes the blueprint of the song and then we all come up with our own parts. So it's really fucking convenient.
Yeah.
But there's definitely times where like I don't know. It seems really cool. Like I had like Bear Ghost was on, and they were saying that too. They just sit together and they come up with everything together. Yeah, and that sounds so much fun. That sounds like
it is. So cool. It is. It's fun and is like I guess as lame as it sounds, it is kind of like a bonding experience. You know?
For
like
sure.
It really is. But yeah, it's. I mean, we definitely have times where like one of us will have an idea that we'll just bring from like outside the group, you know, basically.
Yeah, of course.
And kind of work from it from there. But yeah, for the most part, like it's just whether it's, you know, Bryant has this melody stuck in his head, vocal melody or something, and then we just work from that, or I have a guitar part or Bryant has a guitar part. It just kind of all just culminates very easily.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is Glass Key?
Okay, so Glass Key is the EP that L West had released prior to this lineup.
Got it.
Yeah. So that was the first EP recorded, I think in like 2013.
2013, yeah.
It was recorded. And yeah, definitely like even like some of the songs on Glass Key, like we kind of wanted to start fresh, I guess. You know, it was like, okay, we want this to be something new, not like revisit older songs or anything like that. But some of the songs we kind of took and like rewrote, I guess, and made them like our own. Because like the style, like stylistically, I mean, you hear Brian has a very distinct voice and very distinct like guitar playing style as well. And so that has remained the same. But like as far as me coming in playing lead guitar, I was very different from what was happening prior to me, and same with drums. Like the drums were just kind of a completely different style and everything too. So we just kind of wanted to make it comfortable for all of the new members to come in and just kind of, you know, make it their own.
No, that's definitely cool. There's one of the biggest mistakes that bands can make, and I can speak because I've made those mistakes, is doing the whole George Lucas thing where you go back to your old music and you're like, no, these songs were good, I'm gonna make them better and re-record them. And it's so often, like every once in a while that works, but it did not work for me and it did not work for what we did. And it like, because it always just it seems to always feel so like self-defeating, and like any magic that was originally there is not going to be there when you re-record it.
For sure.
Probably in a completely different place.
Oh, for sure.
Doing this the other time.
For sure. And we come across that a lot too. We're like, we have so many songs written or so many parts written that will be like, okay, we're going to stash this away, come back to it. And then 6 months later, when we get the chance to come back to it, we're just like, no, you know, we're just not really feeling it anymore. And it's time to just kind of move on from this. But we just really wanted to move forward rather than kind of revisit the older stuff, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's interesting too. I was wondering about that because there's barely any gaps between releasing music since the new lineup. It's really consistent. But then it was like Glass Key and then 3-year gap.
Yeah.
And then
yeah. So there's a huge break there for sure. Yeah, we try and keep it. You know, it's weird because honestly, like between the first 2 EPs, we recorded the first EP in like, I want to say, well, we recorded our first single in November of like 2015.
Prior to the EP?
2016.
And the single was prior to the EP?
Yeah. And then we ended up including it on the EP though. And then the rest of the EP was recorded in February 2017. So just, 3 months later. And then, but we didn't release it until, God, I want to say, I don't think we released it until like June. And by that point, our second EP had pretty much already been recorded.
Yeah.
Like we had already gone into the studio and recorded the second EP, and then we held on to that for a little while too, though. So we didn't release that one for a little bit, but and the new one too. Like the songs, I mean, we haven't. We're going out to California in about 3 weeks to record our new EP. And a lot of the songs on it honestly have like been in the works for a year, just since February of last year. And like I record just clips in my phone of just song ideas. And I like literally 2 days ago I was going through clips and I was like, oh shit, that's a song on the new EP. Like that's cool. It, from February last year. So it's but yeah, so like this we ended up the whole process of this EP has just been really, really long, but we ended up recording the pre-production in October. And so that's been done since October. And then, but we're working with a producer. We had to send it to the producer, have him like okay the tracks and make sure he really wanted to do this, basically work with us, and then get the songs picked out, because we recorded 8 songs in pre-pro, and we're gonna track 5.
So it's just another EP.
Yeah, we're just sticking with another EP right now. We just kind of feel like that it just doesn't really make sense to do a full length. Like we have the songs for it, but we'd rather just keep putting out, EPs until until something happens. Until
that totally makes sense.
Yeah, whether that's like I just don't feel like we're well enough known yet to really make sense putting out a full-length EP and spending the money on a full-length EP too, because it just gets pricey.
I know, and we like that's the scariest thing is like we recorded a full-length by ourselves and it was not nearly as good as any of those songs were live, but because like with us everything goes in phases. Yeah, like we had our first era was like our first EP and our first full length, and that was our like surfy kind of indie stuff, and that's all kind of in its own little era and section, and we didn't want to really pursue that anymore. We were falling into other genres, but these songs were good. We were like, these songs are good, we're not really going to go in this direction anymore, we need to put them out
for sure.
So instead of spending a bunch of money on something that we were more like, let's just get these out there, we kind of just did them all in a fucking living room and threw it out and mixed it on headphones like idiots, and then threw it out there, and people liked it, but like all the meat inside were like, yeah, these songs are great, and we'll go out and we'll do a little tour with these songs, full well knowing like half the second record is already written and it's so fucking different from that. That's the hardest thing about
and that's recording. The thing is, I feel like our sound is still kind of evolving to where, like, if we go out and record a full-length record, it could sound completely different the next time around, which is fine in some cases, but we just don't want it to be drastic, So it's like I feel like it's a little bit less of a hit if it's if they're just EPs.
It's way smarter, and bands are doing that like crazy. There's a bunch of bands who are just releasing a bunch of EPs, and that is smarter. But I'm so attached to like the album format and just the full, and you can do it with an EP just fine, but there's something about an album that I just like, and I know that's stupid, and I'm sure it'll sink my fucking battleship, but I like the full length.
Yeah.
And, not everybody has the attention span for it, and that's the direction that we're going in right now as like a society. For sure. But man, I fucking love it. Right
now. Yeah, and I think another thing is that we just want to, I guess at this stage in our careers, we want to make sure that if we release something that that like every song is up to par. We don't, which I would hope we could do in a full length scenario too, but we want the songs to be as good as possible and just kill it and not really have any fillers on there.
There's always like 2 songs where you're we could have done without those.
For sure.
I definitely had that where it's like, is this necessary? Like, looking back, like we probably could have made this a fucking banger of an EP and just put all of the best songs on the EP, and then later on release like a cassette tape of B-sides and then call it a day. And then, maybe one day we'll release it as a special thing on Spotify. And you know what I mean? You can that's definitely smart. smarter. But
for sure,
I don't know. We're so conceptual that it's so like important, I guess, to have like the full range of, you know what I mean? But you're right. The EP thing is way smarter. It's just we're just sentimental, romantic. You know? Like, we're like
yeah. Also, I guess like this new EP, like pretty much an EP is all we could afford with this one.
That's
it's
also
just
true.
like
Also,
the producer we're working with is not cheap, and it's like well, all right. So
like okay, so the what's really funny is going through your guys' stuff is Mitchell Hillman fucking loves you guys.
That
like,
was like it's one of the best things that could have happened to us. Like I will give it like Mitchell Hillman, if you're listening, I love you.
Oh my god, so much,
dude. So I mean, that was honestly like I feel like he has been honestly like a pretty large part of like some of the success that we've had.
Yeah, and
to the point where like if you Google like Arizona music, Arizona bands, like, you know, whatever, it's a lot of what pulls up is us. Mm-hmm. And it's because we had so many write-ups from Mitchell Hillman and it was awesome. And like we got this we landed a gig last March. We opened the March Madness Music Festival when it was in town. So it was like the Chainsmokers, Leon Bridges, Group Love, Capital Cities, and we literally we played on Saturday, and we got a phone call on Thursday from the talent buyer for Time Warner. And first we were like, this is a joke.
Just
like this
burning
is
all
not,
your money.
Yeah,
and
like
this is it.
Yeah,
throw
like
all your nice shit out
this
the window.
is a joke. Like this is not happening right now. But yeah. So like they called us and they were like, hey, a spot opened up on Saturday. We thought it'd be really cool to have a local band play it, and we just kind of Googled Arizona local music, and you guys popped up a lot, and we listened to it and we really liked it, and we would love to have you guys come out. So just kind of stuff like that. But yeah, he's been awesome. He's been really, really good to us, and I literally cannot thank him enough. Dude, he's an awesome guy.
It was one of the first reviews that we ever got, and ever since then it's like, I think 75% of his Facebook friends are people who are in bands who have been reviewed by him. For sure. And it's always positive, which is great too.
Yeah.
And like we've made like quasi plans for him to be on this show, because I just want to like wind him up and let him go. Just tell me the fucking craziest story. Have you actually met him before and hung out with him before? He just goes and tells the crazy, like you could just mention a genre, be like, which is what I did. I met him at Rebel, and I was like, I really like DC hardcore punk from the 80s. And he's like, it's almost like gears clicked in his head, grabbed a memory, pulled it forward, and then went, oh, I've got blood on my boots from Ian MacKaye singing fucking Minor Threat at 19 Bowl. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. And then someone else will be like, oh, I like grunge. And he's like, oh, I was in Washington State and saw blah, blah. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
He's a super rad guy.
I'm going to drag him out of his home to come on the show.
You should do it. You should do it. I feel like
so funny.
I actually saw him recently. I went and saw Pinback at Crescent, and he was there at that show. That was the first time I had actually seen him in a while. He was coming to pretty much any show we had, like no matter where it was, for the first year. He was there and like checking it out, loved it, and was just doing write-ups all the time. And then I think he left New Times. And
did he? Okay. He's I know he's still on the Java thing.
He's still doing Java, and then I saw for a little bit he was with Yab Yum. I don't know how much he's like doing with Yab Yum.
I don't know how much to do with Yab Yum either.
Yeah, but I saw like an announcement that they made that he was working with them. But
that's awesome. I mean, it makes sense.
But yeah, he's just like a really awesome dude for the Arizona music scene. I think he's so like a huge part of it.
He's really, really fucking important. I remember just so many. Oh my god! Like he's just so much fun and
for sure
and goofy as fuck.
He tries to make it out as many shows as he possibly can. Like he's. Just
I want to do that. What's up with that every show Joe guy? Do you know him?
No.
Okay, so there's
but I see like
yeah, right.
I see a lot. I see shit every show.
you go to his like Instagram and it's like 25,000 posts.
Yeah,
and it's like literally every fucking show
for
you
sure.
can
And I've
imagine.
never met him, but he's been at our shows
Yeah, I've
and
seen
like
him before,
taken
too.
pictures and stuff and made posts. But I've just never met the guy.
You know what sucks is the first time he ever put us on his Instagram was probably the worst show we ever played. Like he came, we played a show at Rogue Bar on a fucking Sunday night, which is death. And then he was there and like it was just we got off a really weird and rough small tour. And it was not good, and we were not enjoying ourselves. And it was one of those moments where, like, the ego just like shit its pants, and it was bad. And like usually, like my belief and opinion is you always give it like you're playing to thousands of people.
Sure.
But at the same time, Sunday night at Rogue Bar, sometimes you just fucking want to kill yourself. So like so we're playing and it's just him taking pictures. And I did not know that's who it was. And then sure enough, the next fucking morning, every show Joe, a fan party at Rogue Bar, and I was like, fuck! Like, and which just goes to show, always play.
Always play.
Always play like you're playing to 1,000 people and you're happy about it because you never fucking know who's there.
Absolutely.
Oh god, I was so pissed off about that.
That's
so
so
yeah,
good.
we're not playing those shows anymore. So but like, so what are some of your guys' favorite spots around town? Speaking of some local spots.
Yeah, I mean we love Rebel.
Yeah.
Rebel's just like always really good to us, and like the staff there is just phenomenal. They treat us really well every time we're there, and I really like Valley Bar.
As fuck, I haven't. That's like the only spot in town that I haven't been able to play yet for whatever reason. It just never happened.
Well, let me know. I got the hookup. So
I know.
Yeah,
I need to. I keep seeing it.
Yeah, and like Valley Bar is the easiest draw for us.
Really?
Yeah, like we've done our last. We team up with them every year for a fundraiser event that we do, and it goes. So there's a bike shop on 16th Street in Bethany Home, right next to Brian's coffee shop that he's like good friends with the owner. It's called Gray Matter Bicycles, and the owner David, young guy. Owns the bicycle shop. It's a nonprofit organization as well, and they donate all their money to Barrow Neurological Institute.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we team up with them every year to do a fundraiser at Valley Bar. Valley Bar jumps in on it as well. Typically donates like a part of the bar sales per night, and all the money raised, 100% of the profits, 100% of the proceeds, go to Barrow Neurological to help support brain tumor research.
That's crazy.
So we've done that there the past 2 years. We've done all of our release shows there, and it's just a super easy draw for us. I don't know why. It's like we pack the house at Valley Bar every time we play it. So we love Valley Bar. I love Crescent.
Yeah.
Like Crescent is sound wise just always on point.
One of these days.
It's killer. I'm so we haven't played there in like a year.
Yeah.
And we have a show there on February 22nd, which will be really rad.
Nice.
But yeah, those are like my three go-tos. Like obviously like we've got like Rogue Bar we've played, and like Bryant and Ricky, our bass player, are like good friends with Manny, and like
Manny's awesome.
They've played
I feel
there.
Bad. Like my go-to joke about playing rough shows literally is
Rogue
Tuesday night at Rogue. I've been saying that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And Manny is awesome, and every single time I'm there I love him, but it's always my immediate go-to because every fucking time we've ever played there has been a weeknight, and it's always sucked ass. Except for one, like we got lucky once. We opened for Redemptions, who were throwing like their big album release show or whatever at Saturday night, and it was like Psychedelephants and them and Hostile Work Environment and a bunch of other bands. So like that worked out really well, but it's almost always just eating dick. So it's like whatever. Like, but he is so fucking cool. I don't know how he does it, but like that place is still going strong.
It's going strong. It's going hard for sure. And I always feel like I feel like every time I'm in there, I feel like I'm about to get into a fight with somebody or like get shanked or something. Like there's just something really sketchy.
That's what's great about it.
The place,
so
but yeah, it's literally like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's some places like it's always dive bars like is where, but that's also because our audience skews younger. So anytime we're playing a bar, we don't have a draw really, and we have to kind of rely on whoever we're opening for.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I really hope someone's coming to Timeout Lounge tonight.
Yeah.
Like, cause
see, I've never played Timeout.
It's okay. Yeah. It's cool. It's fine. It was packed when we played it, which was nice. I mean, they've got it's one of those spots that has like a dedicated people always there.
For sure. We've been offered a lot of shows there. We just have never been able to take them.
It's cool. You know, I don't want to throw them under the bus, but you guys could probably do a lot better. You know, it happens. But
yeah, I don't know though. Like sometimes those things are fun. Honestly, like one of the most fun shows I've ever played, Chopper John's.
Really?
Dude, Chopper John's.
Really?
It was.
Because you have a beard.
At one point, I thought, like, no, well, like, for sure, going into it, I was like, dude, this is not a good idea. Like, something bad is going to happen. We're, like, these indie kids up on stage, and, like, we play, like, pretty indie rock, and, like, something bad is going to happen. Yeah. And it was during Bike Week last year.
Oh,
so,
man.
like, no joke, there's probably 150 just massive dudes in there just riding in on motorcycles, and we get up to play, and I'm like, this is just not going to be good. This is just not okay. And we played, and they ate it up. Like, and it was going so hard in there. It was just so much fun.
Going hard.
It was so much fun. And yeah, it was just a crazy experience. It was super weird.
Chopper John's.
Yeah.
I've seen that spot before. I used to like drive around in that area, and I remember seeing it all the time, and always being like, nope.
Yeah, I guess it didn't hurt that we played at like midnight.
There you go.
Too. So it was like late, and everybody was like nice and drunk by that point, just nice and wasted.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, see, we frequent the all ages clubs or all ages spots. Like, we're at 51 West all the time, and we're at Trunk Space all the time.
For sure.
House shows and stuff like that.
I've never played either. I've never played 51 West either, or Trunk Space.
It's cool. I mean, they're cool spots, but it definitely helps if you go towards a younger crowd.
For sure.
Most adults, like most people who would go to see you at Valley Bar, are going to go to 51 and be like, the fuck, I can't get it. There's no alcohol. There's no anything. So, I mean, it's really good for hardcore shows.
For sure.
And it's really good for, like, indie kid shows. That's where we do our best. Like, we can throw up a show at Trunk Space and do really well, or 51. Spots like that, and house shows, obviously always clean house, because you've got a bunch of crazy teenagers drinking in houses and losing their minds.
Oh, for sure.
So that's always that's the thing. The house shows, I've seen some fucked up shit at house shows, like some crazy shit.
Yeah,
because it's like completely free. It's completely free.
Oh,
someone's doing like there's like dabs over here, and then coke over here, and someone's on acid over here. Someone's like curled up into a ball, and like you're playing in the living room.
Yep.
And there's some dude like smoking a bowl, and then like there was literally we played this house show where there's the band is play. It wasn't us, but there was a band playing, and then a guy sits in the middle of the band and just smokes a bowl right while they're like playing around.
Hell
it was fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
House shows are awesome.
That's how it should be.
I really want to play another one.
It's been a long time. I think the last time I played a house show I was like 18.
Dude, just do. That's the thing. Like you play a house show for free, and like maybe you'll sell merch, maybe you won't. But either way, you're gonna like have a great time, and people are gonna remember you. And it's just like it's one of those things where you just kind of like do it for the better of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just one of those smart moves. You don't need to make money from it. It's just so much fun.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I miss them, man. One time, cops showed up, watched 2 songs of our set, and then left. It's like, fuck yeah!
Yes.
Like they were like, nah, this is pretty cool.
Yo, you guys are fine.
They left.
That's tight. Hell yeah.
Oh shit, my dog.
Oh,
man.
the dog.
I love that the dog will see people walking by, or there's a fucking asshole little kid that lives in this apartment complex who will walk by with their dog, knowing that my dog will freak out and like let their dog go
Just
up
stop.
to my dog.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
God damn, what a little
That's
dickhead.
fucked up.
So when you guys released the self-titled EP, that was when obviously things started to really kind of come together. You started to catch a little bit of heat for that.
Yeah.
The name started to kind of get into people's minds. Because was El West like, Was it taken as seriously in the Glass Key era as it was during the self-titled era, or was it?
You know, so I don't know. I don't know if I can speak to that, just not being a part of it at the time. But it's, I know Brian's always been like die hard, like, yeah, and like this is what he does. You know, like he just dedicates his life to this. You know, so I know for him, I'm sure it was. I just don't know if it was for the rest of the band, and I think that maybe ended up in kind of like the demise of that lineup, you know, is just that he was kind of fed up with feeling like he was the only one really pushing it. But yeah, with the new one, or not the new one, but the self-titled, the self-titled EP. We actually I don't think we played a show for 8 months, after we. Long. Actually, it may have been even longer than that, because I think we started jamming together. We all started jamming together. We actually didn't even have a bass player for a really long time. Ricky is Brian's twin brother, our bass player, and he was in El West in Prague before El West, but he had another band at the time, and he was working with them. And then we were at the point where actually Corey Spots was playing bass for us for a long time live, and but he just couldn't commit to it. You know, obviously his schedule's just crazy. So, but Ricky ended up coming into the picture, worked out awesome. You know, meshed super well with us, and then but we didn't play a show. We started jamming together in September 2015. And then we didn't play a show until July 2016.
Damn.
Yeah. So we're just going about it we're not going to do this until we have a 6-7 song set and the songs are just hammered the fuck out. You know, we don't want to go into this and get up on stage and sound like shit. We want to go up there and kill it day one.
That's awesome.
So we just took our time with it and really just pushed it, kind of built up the hype. And, you know, it was just, we wanted to do it right, promotion wise, as well as musicianship wise, I guess. But it, the first EP was awesome. We got a lot of really good press out of it. We got a ton of radio play, not just in Arizona, but all over the country. And it charted on, I think it charted on 5 stations. However nice. You want to I mean, I didn't see much translation CD sales or Spotify streams or anything like that, but it charted on 5 stations nationwide. That just kind of got the ball rolling for us, I guess.
Well, you know what's really crazy about radio is that even though it's no longer the ultimate source of the way that we consume or discover media, it's still this thing that you put on your resume, it's really important.
For sure.
It's very interesting to me how it's not, radio hasn't been completely phased out yet. It's still there's still whatever, the stuff that sells on the radio, but it's you still and so we do the same thing. Anytime we get radio play, we'll make sure to put that in on any kind of press kit, on any kind of thing, and it makes you look legitimate, even though you know full well that it didn't really do a whole lot for you.
Yeah, no.
but still, for some reason, people still oh, they're legit, even though it didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah,
it's weird. Radio is in this really it's in this very odd purgatory right now. It's they're holding on to their last rung
for sure,
trying to stay relevant. But
and local radio has been awesome to us.
Dude, 93 or 90. What is it? Fucking
93.3 and 93.9. Yeah, and both of them we're on regular rotation on both of them, and that's awesome. That's huge support. You know, it's just I get people.
I'm grateful. It's just weird.
But it is I have
on the radio.
I'll be sitting in my restaurant, working, and I'll have somebody come up to me and be like, "Dude, I heard your band on the radio."
Really?
Oh, well, that's tight. That's cool.
I take it back.
But it's also it just doesn't usually translate very well to money.
I don't know though. I wonder if it we got played on the radio, and then a bunch of people who we didn't know showed up to one of our shows once. The first show we played after being played on the radio, and I never got to interview all of them to
sure.
ask if that's why they were there. But I always wondered that. So I mean, maybe I'm completely
yeah.
wrong.
I guess the one thing I will
knows?
say is like we get a lot of interaction on social media,
Yes.
like from out of state, we've gotten a lot of like international write-ups too, which has been great. Like
Those are cool.
Yeah, so like we get a lot of social media interaction like from the UK and from like Amsterdam and
UK.
like, you know, so that's always awesome to see. Like that's like honestly I hate it because social media just sucks 90% of the time. But
weird.
like it is like it's like the key right now. It really is. Like I can't tell you how many times like we've been in talks with like endorsers or like labels and they're just like, whoa, you know, what's your social media like how many followers do you have? Why does that matter right now? Like is the music good? Do you like the music, or are you gonna sit here and like judge it off of like if I have like 20,000 followers or 1,500?
That's the thing, though. But people who are talent buyers or whatever need to understand, if they don't already, that so you can so easily be nobody with 20,000 Facebook follows.
For sure.
It's all about how you hustle. It's all about how you play the game. But maybe that's what they want. Maybe they just want someone who can play the game.
Yeah.
That way they can be on the same team.
For sure. Unfortunately, I feel like that is like pretty standard in the industry right now.
Yeah.
You know, you just sometimes see like bands that you're like, really? Like, you know, are you like, is this like for real? I don't know.
Some bands will like that, dude. Some bands will. I mean, and I get it. Everybody's hustling. Everybody, business is a sham, and I guess you have to play the game to get ahead. But there's always like people who like will inflate their own Spotify plays, or they'll inflate their own their likes and whatever, in any way that they can. And maybe there's something to be said about that. The hustle is there. It's a little dishonest, but I guess that's business.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
For sure.
I don't know. It's
it
really,
definitely is.
Part of me is like, oh yeah, good hustle. The other part of me is like, fuck you. That's so gross.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to stand on it, and I don't know. Maybe I need to be gross. Maybe that's how we should get ahead.
I mean, there's just a lot of like the thing that I don't really necessarily agree with like the amount of followers, you know, standpoint on social media is that there's just so many services out there that like, I mean, we get hounded by services being like, I'm sure everybody does, but just, hey, like, you know, for this small fee, we can gain you 20,000 followers in a week. But what's that going to translate to? Like, it's probably mainly like bots and like random bullshit that just doesn't matter.
Which is really easy to sniff out.
For sure.
Like you go through someone's likes and their name is in a completely other language and they've got like 2 photos on there. Like it's really obvious. And all it takes is a little bit of digging. And the other biggest thing is like there's bands who will have 30,000 listens on one song and then their monthly listeners are like 200.
Yeah.
Or on Facebook they'll have 40,000 likes and they'll get like no shares, 3 likes, and like 1 comment of a thumbs up.
For sure.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
So it's weird, man. Like we're in this weird. I feel like social media had it and then lost it.
Yeah.
Like because now there's all the algorithms and all the things you have to play and.
For sure. Like we've like given up on Facebook. Like Facebook just like. The only time we ever post to Facebook is basically like if it's a repost through Instagram. Like that's like we just don't even like bother with Facebook anymore because literally you have to pay for everything. If you want to get like if we post. Let's say like we post an event, right, for a show on Facebook and we don't boost it. It'll see 20 people. That's it. You know, but then you pay for it and oh wow, I just saw 2,500.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like Facebook just
is
just squashing it. Like they're just
Instagram. The thing is, though, Instagram, we get way more play on Instagram than anywhere else. Instagram is where I found you guys. It's where I see the most stuff. I'm on Instagram the most. But fucking Instagram's playing that game now too.
Yeah,
they're
for
playing
sure.
the same out. Like I'll refresh. Like I follow, I don't know, like 600 people or something like that on Instagram. There's no reason why I should refresh my feed after 3 hours and not have anything new.
For sure.
There's no reason that
For
should
sure.
happen. It's
It sucks. It really does. Like
weird, man.
it's
so
frustrating.
We used to have it. It was wonderful, but it was like then they had to fucking make it more. They had to capitalize off it more and make it more.
It's very frustrating. I feel like, they just all see it's all money, and to them it's another way just to make more money off of it.
Speaking of corruption, I'm going to go off the tangent
Let's
for
do
a
this.
second because I heard something today that I thought was fucking insane, and I have to talk to somebody about it. So, did you hear about this audio leak from Richard Nixon that was just released recently?
No.
Okay, so Richard Nixon, there's I believe it's an audio recording of Richard Nixon talking about, basically straight up talking about, because he started the war on drugs. Like the war on drugs, everyone attributes to Reagan because Reagan was so loud about it. But Richard Nixon started it, and then obviously all the Watergate shit happened, and he's no longer president. And then Reagan later on picked up the mantle, and then he ran with the whole war on drugs thing. But it was all Reagan. So Reagan, Nixon, there's a clip of him talking about, very candidly, about how the war on drugs was totally a lie, was just to take out the impoverished and the black communities. And how
I did hear about that.
Yeah, which is like, everyone had been talking about that, and everyone was kind of surmising. We all kind of agree the war on drugs is bullshit, and then there was never any concrete proof. And now, from the grave, years later, Nixon was like, is quoted as saying it was a lie. Like, it was just to fucking make these people look bad so they would turn on each other.
For sure. They were just like pumping the drugs into like the impoverished parts of town. And
it's a Tracy Chapman song. It really happened.
It's screwed.
I couldn't believe it.
It's pretty amazing.
I was like, shit.
It's pretty amazing. It just shows you how like.
Imagine if you had Twitter. Imagine Nixon had Twitter. Like we talk about how bad Trump is, but I wonder if it's just like Richard Nixon and then like in asterisks, just like maniacal laughter. Like what was that guy's Twitter feed like?
Yeah.
There's so much awful things happening in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s that no one talks about because no one knew about it. Like, no one talks about like the 16-year-old mistresses that all these like celebrities had that no one talks about, or Elvis Presley marrying like a 14-year-old girl. Like, imagine if you had someone like today, like someone who's Elvis status, like fucking, like, I don't know, like Johnny Depp, I guess would be like Elvis status fame.
Yeah.
And you find out that he's got like a 14-year-old wife. The world would burn.
For sure.
And that's in like people who are still alive today were around when that happened back in the day. It's so fucking crazy that within a lifetime, something that was like, what a kinky fella is like, fucking burn him alive.
Yeah. That shit is crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to fall off.
No, dude, it's nuts, man.
I thought about that today.
It just shows you like how just fucked the government can get.
It's so
like,
crazy.
It's just
it is now more than ever obvious to everybody that this is just entertainment.
For sure.
That this is all a sham. And
for sure.
People who didn't think so before now are like, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's not everything is okay. Because the whole Obama thing was so like everyone. It's okay. He got it. He's gonna handle it. Everything's fine. We've got black president. He's great. He's well spoken. He's funny. Look at the little meme that he did. He's so funny. And like I ate it up too. Like I thought he was hilarious, and that was super cool. I was whatever. But like, and then you just move. You keep going, and it's just like fuck. Like everyone just. No, everyone kind of forgot that he was a politician. And I forgot, and everyone did. We all just moved on. Like, oh, he's got it, dude. Fucking Barry.
For sure.
He's got
Dude's got swag.
Yeah. He was hilarious. Look at that green suit. Remember that?
Yeah. The green suit.
Tan or whatever it was. Yeah.
The red suit one day. Like,
and then it was like, oh, what a wacky guy. And then it, like, now it's back to reality. Like, oh, no, it is corrupt. It's House of Cards. It's fucking crazy.
Now we got Trump.
Oh,
I'm
so
not going to get started.
Yeah, no, we don't have to. We won't. We don't. We don't have to get started.
That's
but
for another day.
Yeah, no, you can see. I don't know enough about current politics to even talk about it enough publicly, which is my fault, and I'm really upset about that, and I'm embarrassed. But
here's just like I'm just gonna say this real quick.
Go ahead.
So, like, honestly, prior to this election, I really just didn't care much about politics whatsoever because I was like, well, all right, like, how have I ever, like, truly, really individually been affected by this decision that was made, you know, or who's in office at this moment or who, you know, whatever. And to me, it just didn't really, I don't know, it just didn't ring a bell with me. I just didn't really care all that much about it. And I look back on it now and I'm like, I probably should have cared about it. Like, you know, this person has the most influence on, you know, our country. Mm-hmm. But when this past election kind of started coming along, I was like, well, this is just going to get ugly. Like, this is not a good idea. Like, you know, I started paying more attention to it. But, like, Trump literally was, like, the reason I started paying more attention to politics and just being, like, actually caring about it more. And I guess you could say that's a good thing and a bad thing because, like, you know.
It's getting people who didn't previously give a shit a reason to get angry.
For sure. Like, I guarantee you the poll numbers next election are going to be, like, at least 25% higher. Like, people are going to be like, dude, my vote fucking counts this time. Like,
or they're just going to be eating Tide Pods and fucking killing themselves. Like, who knows?
Or that, yeah.
But that's what's so crazy, like, with Trump was, like, I don't know. The best thing that I ever heard about it was Henry Rollins writes for LA Weekly, and he's one of my all-time, like, there's, like, 3 people who influenced me the most as far as people
he's
who,
awesome.
Like, people who, like, obviously aren't my parents or who I've met, but there's, like, 3 people outside of people who I've ever met who have really influenced the way I've thought, which is Henry Rollins, George Carlin, and Kevin Smith. And Rollins, like, he wrote this thing for LA Weekly, and it said he basically said the veil of civility has been lifted, which is, like, so true because everyone seems to have thought when he first got elected that because suddenly as soon as he got elected there was all these hate crimes that were being publicized and there was all of these awful racists saying all these crazy things and these bigotry and all these things suddenly had a platform
for sure,
and all these people are like, oh my god, look what's happening to the country. But it's like, no, these people were always here but they didn't have a voice. But then this fucking psychopath gave all of these people a voice, and that's what we're saying, which is, like, kind of a good thing because now we know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, now we know who we're actually sharing a country with.
For sure.
And I guess the best way to diagnose a problem is finding where it is and that it exists. But at the same time, it's like it's free fucking range. It's people are so proud. People want to piss you off. Like when Trump got elected, I saw someone, like, there was, like, kids, like 18-year-olds in, like, Trump hat, Trump shirt, like running shorts and everything. Like they want to make you angry. It was like when we were angsty teenagers and we wanted to listen to the craziest music we could to piss everybody off.
I witnessed it firsthand. Like literally on an election night, right? My restaurant. I manage a restaurant downtown Phoenix, and literally right after this dude won, like, this kid was sitting at a table wearing a Trump shirt. He'd been quiet the entire night, like, no problems. And the moment they announced it, this kid just stands up at his table and just starts cursing at everybody in the fucking restaurant.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and, like, just for no reason. No reason. And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, oh my god, like, this is the beginning. This is only the beginning.
Oh,
like,
man.
this is night 1, you know? And this kid's just standing up yelling, fuck you at everybody at the restaurant because they're all voting against Trump, you know, and sitting there hoping that Trump loses. This kid's the only one in the restaurant that actually voted for him. And it was just brutal, like, to actually kind of see that kind of behavior, you know, which I'm not saying, like, I definitely don't think all Trump supporters are like that, you know, but it's just, it shows you what some are capable of.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but that was the craziest thing about with that election was I wasn't as angry as the I'm with her crowd, but I was still like, no, that's not your answer.
Yeah.
Like, they're both wrong answers,
For
except
sure.
like if the answer is 50, one, let's say it's a math equation. If the actual true answer is 50, one of these answers is 1,000, and the other answer is 1,000,000.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. They're
For
both
sure.
completely astronomically fucking wrong, but one is completely ridiculously wrong, and the other one's like, yeah, you're still,
Yeah.
But it's like with the Hillary thing, like all the talks, all the secret speeches for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the fucking. I mean, I'm no Alex Jones, but still, like there was so much that people. Especially on we live in an echo chamber. We live in an echo chamber, especially people in the music scene. It's all left. It's all it is. We're always on the left, and anybody on the right is just thrown away as being a crazy psychopath, and I'm just fucking one of them too, and it's tribal and crazy and whatever. But that's the world that we live in social media, and it's like no one was talking about that.
Yeah.
And the second anyone brought up, like, I think Hillary Clinton might actually be kind of a crazy, fucking cut off. You're banished from the community. You're fucking, you're a Trump supporter. I can't believe you fucking racist.
Yeah.
And you cut off, and it's so they just cut you off immediately.
For sure.
And it was rough.
It was a pretty rough election.
That was bad, man. That was
because you're looking at it. Yeah, you're looking at
history.
it like both sides, and you're like, I'm not sure either side is like, can we have a redo? Like, is there like a way to like restart this process and like just start fresh and get like new people in here?
I know.
But it is what it is.
I was so into Bernie Sanders. Like Bernie Sanders.
Bernie's tight.
I was one of those.
Bernie's tight.
Bernie's the answer. I loved that shit.
Yeah.
But like, it is what it is, man.
For
like
sure.
it happened. Well, the craziest thing is that we lived through that. Like this is one of those stories.
Oh, it's like historical. It's an historical moment in the history of the United States of America.
This is our 100 Years War.
For sure.
Like we went through it. This is our Bunker Hill, man. We saw it happen. And we've been through it, and we're gonna be able to tell our grandkids like the fucking Clinton-Trump election. Like I was there. Like I cried when that happened. Or me, I was sitting in my apartment. Like I watched some of it from Barrows because we went and picked up pizza. And then I watched it at home. Like, we don't have cable. I just, like, HDMI'd my laptop.
Yeah.
And, I just got really high.
Yeah.
I was just smoking away. Don't think about it. This is bad. And posted some angsty Snapchats and then whatever. And then the next day, everything was the same. But, like, people were giving me a hard time at work, too, the next day about how, like, oh, look at you, so fucking down about it. And it was just, like... I don't know. I wonder how we would have all felt if Hillary won. I feel like we would have all at first been like, haha, fuck you.
Yeah.
But then after like a few months, it would have started to, we would have so eaten each other alive.
For sure.
Like everybody would have attacked each other anyway.
I think it was just a bad situation either way.
Yeah.
There's just no winning.
It's crazy, dude. But yeah. Oh well. Anyway, so L West.
L West.
Sorry, I
no, dude,
warn
it's
everybody.
all good.
I tell them all,
dude,
like,
it's all good.
Before they come on the show, I send out a little leaflet thing that says like, digressions are welcome. Let's go crazy. Let's fucking talk some shit.
No, it's fun.
This is not radio. So I want to talk a little bit about like Mainstay.
Yeah.
Because Mainstay was where I discovered you guys.
Okay.
And that's where, sorry, I wish I was around earlier, but I wasn't.
Dude, it's fine. It's all good.
Mainstay was, I feel like, from my perspective as an outsider, was really where things started to pick up. Like, I really saw a lot of attention.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think for us as like, I mean, it was definitely a little different sound-wise, not like crazy. It was cohesive to the first record, but a little bit different. I think it was like just an evolution of the band. But as so too, we were learning more about just like self-promotion and just, different ways about going about it. But the Mainstay was kind of a weird time for us because we actually were talking to a label at the time about releasing Mainstay. They wanted to pick it up and release it, and it just got so dragged out and like the deal wasn't very good. And I'm lucky enough to have a family member that's a entertainment attorney, and they kind of took the task on of dealing with a label so we could kind of just sit back and hang. But it ended up just falling apart. Like the whole deal just ended up, disappearing in front of our eyes, and it was for the best, honestly. But it was just kind of a mentally draining process for all of us. But it we gained a lot of press off of the mainstay. I think my biggest regret was just not doing like a music video for it or like any other sort of content along with it, because like the music video for Olivine gained a lot of traction. Like that was huge for us. That was really cool.
Yeah,
and
that's the single that people talk about a lot.
Yeah,
I see a lot because of the music video.
And still, like that's still like,
bottle opener.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, thank you.
No, you're good, man. Like whenever we like.
God damn, you a lot of keys.
I know. Restaurant right there. That's like I got 6 keys to the restaurant right there. But yeah, I think for the main thing, I think like the mainstay was just an evolution for us. We grew as a band writing music. I think the music was a little bit stronger, a little bit more entertaining. I don't know, like
stronger.
Yeah, it was just stronger, and I think there was just more. It helped us pick up speed with radio play as well, and we were getting radio play on that like nationally as well. But yeah, I don't know. Those are some of my favorite songs that we've written too. Like I love Olivine. Obviously, Olivine has like a special place in all of our hearts, I think, as a band. But we kind of like really started experimenting with different things and different sounds, and just really getting to like put them to use.
Yeah, and the imagery too is really. I mean, it's when I think of El West, I think of the plane with the logo.
For sure,
always.
I think we kind of try and keep it like I don't know. I think like in my head we try and create as important as the vocals are to our sound. I think like the instrumentation is just as important.
Totally.
And like we try to be that way. We want to, like, if you were to take the vocals out, we would want you to still have this like image in your head just by listening to the music. So I guess like the way I explain is like we try and create like landscapes of sound, and so the images we try and like the artwork that we use for our records are typically like, for the oh god, self-titled, thank you. For the self-titled release, it was just like the sunset and all that stuff. I don't know, we just like to have kind of landscape type imagery along with the music. I don't know, I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with each other.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's really important
for sure.
I've bought albums based on cover art, or I've bought albums based on, because there every once in a while you'll see a cover and you just know like this is gonna be awesome.
For sure.
Metal records are the best for that, but they're also the most misleading because 80% of them are awesome.
Yeah.
But like a really good example is I don't know how much metal you listen to now. Like I'm not.
I still do. Like I grew up a metalhead. Like I still have metal in my blood.
So I've been into some like retro thrash lately, and that new fucking Iron Reagan record is like it's like a skeleton holding a cross with a fucking like hood on, and it says like Iron Reagan. It's like white and black and super cool and big. And the record's awesome.
I gotta check it out now.
Power Trip is the same way. The new Power Trip record, like there's so much of that. I mean, but that all harkens back to fucking Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
like those Iron Maiden records.
Iron Maiden kind of started.
No radio play.
Yeah.
No fucking radio play in the '80s, and they were selling records because their album covers were so cool.
For sure.
Oh my god.
For sure, and I think that's kind of like one of those things where like we want. I don't know. It's simple. Like for us, like typically it's just. Like we're using like almost like photography,
as a picture that you guys took.
Yeah, as like we didn't take. Okay, so we didn't take them. The first one was actually a photograph taken by. He's a graphic designer here in town, Brock Lefferts, who's an awesome musician as well, but does graphic design, really really cool stuff. It was a photograph taken by him, and we asked him if we could use it, and he allowed us to use it for it. The second one, the mainstay, was actually a picture taken by Bryant's uncle-in-law, and he's a professional photographer from the Ukraine.
Ooh.
And Bryant's wife is from the Ukraine, so her whole family, traveled here, but. was a professional. It was a photograph taken by him, and it was a Russian bomber.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and which they were like the name, what they were called translated to the mainstay. So we used that as like, we're like, okay, well, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like the mainstay is like the name of the plane, but also like, you know, the meaning of the mainstay kind of has like a place in our hearts. So it like works well for this record. So that's kind of how that all came together. But it's like the artwork that we're looking at for the new one is very similar, kind of landscapey looking, and you know, a little bit different, but we kind of try and kind of keep that. I think it's captivating, as well as like the logo. Just like, I think our logo is strong.
Awesome.
It's just strong. It's simple and strong.
That's so
but like
cool.
We sell so much merchandise based off of just the logo. Like people are like, oh, that logo is awesome. Like, so we typically just tend to put the logo on our merchandise instead of like the name too, because it'll sell even if the people don't like the band. They like the artwork. Like, it's cool, done.
Dude, that's so cool. We need a logo. The logos are really. Someone on Facebook, Oliver from Soft Deadlines, was talking about this on Facebook. He was talking about how like, how important are logos and yada yada yada. And I was thinking about that. Like, it's we need a logo. Like, we have like logos again from like each era. Like this from this album, there's like this picture, or from this album there's this imagery, or
for
whatever.
Sure.
But like we need they're just so hard to come up with.
Yeah.
Is that something that Bryant just had forever beforehand? Because that's on the Glass Eye EP too, right?
Yeah. So it's been with him since like kind of the inception of the band, I guess. Like he explains it like, I don't want to butcher this. I'm not 100% sure. Brian may kill me for this later. I know this. He saw it in a dream.
Okay.
So, and it sounds like cliche as fuck, but
yeah, that's cool.
He saw it in a dream, and it was just a bird flying in his dream with an arrow through its wing. And it was just like struggling to fly, but kept flying, you know, just kept going. And it just like kind of hit home for him. And
I wish my dreams were that like poetic.
Right? I was like, dude, my dreams are just like weird. Like, it's
I know. Like, fucking A.
But yeah, so yeah, it ended up, he had somebody like work it up and just came up with it, and it's been there since day one. So
his voice is definitely like, I found out about you guys before I even heard your music. I think I just saw you around on Instagram or something like that, and then it wasn't until later that I saw your music or heard your music, and I was not expecting the voice.
For sure.
The voice really hits you.
For sure. Nowhere. We get that a lot. Like, people are like, yeah, I was not expecting that.
It's
you
cool.
know? Like, and like, it is. Yeah, honestly, the first time, so this is a little funny story dating back to like when I first met him. We're in Lucy's coffee shop. I ordered my coffee. Brian's making it for me. And he's sitting there. He's like, hey, you got to check out my band. Like, you know, here's one of our records. Just take it home, listen to it. And so I do. I take it. I listen to it. I'm like, dude, this singer is like insane. Like, this voice is just crazy. I've never heard anything like this. You know, and he's, you know, so I go back the next day to get coffee, and he's like, what'd you think? And I'm like, dude, your singer is like unreal. And he's like, I'm the singer. And I'm like, there's no way that comes out of you. And he's like, that's me, I swear. So yeah, it's just crazy. He's got like, you know, he's got the classical training. He went to school. He went to ASU and studied opera.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he's classically trained vocally.
Crazy.
And has like the opera background. And originally like wanted to sing with an opera, like with the Arizona Opera. And then he learned how to play guitar and decided he wanted to play guitar and sing, an opera wasn't necessarily so conducive to that. So I just decided to start a band.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So,
That's
but yeah,
wild.
we get that a lot. People are like, holy crap, dude, your singer's voice is like,
there's no
out
one
of
in
control.
Phoenix that sounds like that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, it's a weird thing where people are like, I don't know how I feel about it. You know, like,
yeah, because it takes you a minute.
Yeah. And I feel like most of the time people listen to it and they're like, that do kind of be like, I don't know. Like, it grows on them, and then they're like, holy crap, dude, like this is crazy.
How do you
know?
describe your music to somebody? Like, it happens to me all the time. Like,
yeah, dude.
Play?
I don't know. I just tell people we're like indie alt rock, but
Okay.
I don't even know if that's like, I don't even know what's true anymore. Like, there's just so much random shit. Like, so many subgenres now that you just don't even really know.
We're operacore.
Yeah, and like, so I don't know, and it's funny because like I get that question a lot, and I get like, okay, well, like, who do you compare yourself to? And I'm like, I don't really know like what to do that either. And then people tell us their opinions, and I'm like, I don't really like that opinion. Like, I don't really like that, you know?
Is there a band that you guys get like
all the time? You too.
Fuck that.
All the time.
Really?
All the time.
God damn.
Yeah.
I thought ours were bad. I'm sorry.
We get you two all the fucking time.
Oh.
And I honestly think it's just because, like, I get
delay,
it. Like, my guitar,
effect. Yeah.
I play with a lot of delay and a lot of reverb. I get it. It sounds like The Edge. Like, no. Yeah, fuck it. We get that a ton. We get, which I guess maybe earlier on, like earlier Radiohead. We get a lot of Radiohead.
I've heard,
too.
yeah, I've seen Radiohead before.
Yeah,
but I never agreed.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hear. I mean, they are a huge influence to us. Like we all listen to Radiohead. We all love Radiohead, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily like one of the strongest influences on us.
Radiohead took me forever to get into.
I don't know. Yeah, like
I'm
have
not like a diehard Radiohead
for sure. I think like
that's my fault.
I kind of go through stages like hit or miss. Like I like certain periods of their stuff, and then I like other periods of their stuff. But there's periods that I was like, yeah.
With Radiohead, like I tried to listen to them so much, and it just never worked.
Yeah.
And all my music nerd friends and family members were all telling me that I'm crazy.
For sure.
And I could, for some reason, they were just that band that never clicked. And then I got really high, and I listened to the Bends on vinyl.
Nice.
Because my girlfriend likes Radiohead. She likes that album anyway. And so we listened to the Bends, and like I don't get high really anymore. This is old. This is a long time ago. But like I laid down on the couch and I listened to it, and that's when I was like, oh, I fucking get it. This is awesome. And then I listened to it sober, and I was like, I'm bored.
Yeah, no.
Like for some reason, Radiohead just like doesn't get through to me. And
it's definitely like really like artsy, I guess.
Which
I don't
is
know.
fine.
Yeah, which is fine.
Artsy music, but for some reason it's just Radiohead. Like I can't get it. Like
I feel you.
I don't know why.
I feel you.
I feel like we all have bands like that. That for
but
whatever
yeah, we get
reason,
like we get the Killers too a lot.
We get Killers too.
Yeah, and I've never really been a huge fan of the Killers, so I don't really like that one either.
Yeah, me either.
We get Elbow.
I don't know them. I know the name, but I don't know the music.
Yeah, like I don't know. They're a little bit older. We get a lot of that. There's a bunch of other ones too, but we get Coldplay. We get like,
oh my god,
yeah,
who are these people?
Which is like,
was that a Chopper John's?
Yeah, dude, you guys sound like Coldplay. This is tight. We just found out that biker is like,
oh my god, he's got like Viva La Vida on his chest.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we get a lot of them, and a lot of them I don't necessarily love, but I think it's because like we have like an indie vibe to it, but it also has like a more, I guess we try to make it this way too. Like we want a more mass appeal to it, and we want to appeal to a large range of people. And I feel like people just think like, okay, well, there's this kind of background sound. Like it sounds like.
Where do you think where's the line between wanting to appeal to people and compromising? You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird question.
Yeah, no, I think I think that's a good question. I think as long as you're still like staying true to your sound and just like you still, I mean, I think it's you still enjoy playing your own music, you know? Like I've had like friends in the past that have been like, all right, dude, like, you know, we need to do this. We need to do it now. So we're going to start playing this, even though we don't like it. Like this is what's hot right now. I'm going to get us radio play. And they went on to do crazy shit. Like they're, you know, all over the place now. So it's just
that band was called The Main.
Yes. But actually no, but like it's I don't know. I think it's like, to me, I just want to play the music that I like. Uh-huh. You know, that I enjoy playing, I enjoy writing, and if that translates to something that's, you know, we have songs like, and you guys will hear it on the newer stuff too. Like once we release this, like there's songs where you're like, oh, that's like a radio single. Like that sounds like it's like a radio single. It's very mainstream sounding, you know? But then we have songs that will probably never see the light of day on the radio, you know? And it's like, but we enjoy playing all of it, and we love writing all of it. It's not, we don't see it as a compromise. I think when the point comes to where you're like, all right, we need to do this, like we need to make some money, we like have to start writing music that's going to make it on the radio. Like that's and if you don't enjoy playing it, that's the compromise. Yeah.
That's always been my thing of again, the Henry Rollins quote is selling out is when you make the record you're told to make instead of making the record you want to make.
For sure.
And that's always been the line for me, is when someone's standing over your shoulder telling you how to play it. And you can hear it. There's definitely been records that I've heard before where I know for a fact, just by hearing the music, there's someone standing over these guys.
For sure.
They just signed to a record label.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds completely different than everything they've played before and very mainstream. Obviously, someone's trying to make them sell records, but I don't know, man. Like it's definitely weird, and I get it. Like some like pop musicians can get away with it. Like John Mayer said, he makes half of his record for him and half is for the record label.
Yeah,
which is like, I can respect that.
For sure.
I can respect that because he's honest about it. Because
yeah.
He's straight up like, yeah, I make fucking songs that like people want to hear on the radio and that my record label wants to hear, and I get it. Like, I still don't like his music, but
yeah,
like, I think that's cool.
For sure. Also, like I don't tend to hate on like I don't know. I feel like you see a lot of people being like, that band sold out, like that band sold out, that band sold out. Like I just don't believe in that, because it's like that dude, he may not be necessarily, like, he may have totally changed his style, and like they may be like selling a ton of records based on this new sound compared to what they used to sound like. But good for them, they're making money, they're like living off of what they love to do, whether they're 100% writing the music they love or not necessarily, but like they're making money, they're doing what they love to do and making a career out of it.
And most importantly, I feel like people talk about selling out when a band starts to kind of go outside of their comfort zone a little bit.
Sure.
Like, it's really, really embarrassing. But when I was a teenager, I was really into Avenged Sevenfold.
Dude,
and
me too.
I was so into them.
Me too.
I was a kid. And the self-titled record was by far my favorite Avenged Sevenfold album, because I felt like it was the weirdest, and it was kind of odd. There's songs on that record that people who only know the singles will never know about and never understand how cool they were. Like, still to this day, like, I'll listen to a song like Brompton Cocktail or Unholy Ride or whatever the fuck that song, Wild Ride or whatever. And there's like weird ass songs on that record, and even like Lost has like a weird auto-tune vocal in it and all this crazy stuff. And that was the album where everyone's like, "Oh my god, they fucking sold out." But I'm sitting here like, that song has like a minute-long intro on it. What are you talking about? Like, just because someone's doing something different doesn't mean they're selling out. Like, like they're rich and they can do whatever they want. And
good for them.
What you're hearing is them being able to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like, if they had that much money in 2004, they probably would have done the same thing.
For sure. For sure. So, yeah, it's just a weird thing. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I want to make money as a musician. Like, that's my goal, to make money as a musician. I still want to play the music that I love and that I write, not that somebody else writes or what I'm being told to write. Like, I want to make music that people enjoy. But I feel like the music that we make has enough mass appeal to it to accomplish that.
You don't, because it's the thing, man. Like, when you're 17, you're gonna play a song called like "Your Mom's Cunt," and it's gonna be the craziest like song you've ever heard, and whatever, because you don't care, because you're just angry and whatever, and you're having a good time, and you don't ever want to be successful because you don't really care, because you're not thinking about it, because your mom still does your laundry and whatever, But when you're like into your 20s or your 30s, like because I'm at that point now where like I'm in my mid 20s now, and it's starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, this is no longer just me having fun. Like, I have a full-time job, and I have a girlfriend, and I have a podcast, and I have all of these different things. Like, this needs to be pragmatic. This needs to be more than just like hanging out in my buds, telling fart jokes, and playing music. Which is, sure, that's fun, but can we make it more than that? Yeah. So it's like,
and that's kind of the outlook that we have on the band, is like, all right, this is like, it's fun, like we enjoy doing this, but like it's not just all fun and games. Like, this is business as well, to where like we all work jobs outside of the band, we all have our own careers outside of the band, but like the ultimate goal is to not have to work those jobs. So it's I don't know.
Yeah, no one wants to. No one wants to work at a restaurant or a coffee shop. They want to be able to give all of their time to their music. And,
for sure.
You know, that's what any artist who's like, I don't care, man.
Yeah.
I just want to do it for the music. I don't care if I live on the street. It's like, okay, well, either you're fucking crazy or you're lying.
Yeah.
Like, of course you want to make money off your music. Like, don't say, cause if you're saying that if you tell me that there's nothing in you that wants to make money, I either think that you're a liar or you're crazy, because, like, it's okay to say that. Like, a lot of people just don't say that just because they feel uncomfortable.
For sure.
It's okay. Like, we all understand the game. It's
for
okay.
sure.
Like, you're not doing it. It's different than being like, because there's some bands, there's some bands and even the local scene who you can tell they just want to be rock stars.
Yeah.
And they're just being commercial, and like, it's like, ugh, like, I'm not really into it. But, like, at the same time, there's bands in the middle who they're playing their own music uncompromisingly, and they're having a good time, and they also want to make money off it. And then there's, like, the other bands on the other side who are just playing it for fun, and those are always, like, the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like the middle is where you want to be.
Sure.
It's pragmatic, it's smart.
I agree.
Like, who wants to fucking live in an apartment and play music on the side at dive bars for the rest of their life? Like, I always get sad when I see like a 38-year-old guy at a dive bar playing music that I can tell he put his heart into, and I always get sad because I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
for sure.
He's staring at a computer screen.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't want to be that guy.
For sure, because that's, like, where I draw the line for myself is, like, I will play, like, I guess that's kind of why I just kind of fell out of it. I didn't have a band at the time. I took, like, a 5 or 6 year break from playing in bands. I didn't have a band at the time, and I just didn't see it. I didn't want to just go out and play, like, just to play, you know? Like, I wanted it to actually be worthwhile and to be something that I was 100% wholeheartedly into. And it was like, I don't know, I guess El West came along and it was the perfect fit because it's literally allowed me to just jump in and, like, you know, just me and Bryant do a lot of the, like, Bryant does a lot of the content creation and just, you know, the vlogging and videos and all that stuff. I, like, kind of run social media. He does a little bit. And then, like, I tend to do a lot of the booking and, like, the managing side of things, I guess.
Me too. Yeah.
So, but
it's good. It's good to have that assembly line system.
Yeah.
We have that as well. It's very helpful.
And it is for sure. And I feel like it's, but that's what I do best, you know, is just, I manage restaurants. I've, you know, been doing that for almost 10 years now. And it's like, I just, that's where I fall into place.
Same. I'm the same way. I'm really good at answering emails and talking. I'm good
it's the unglorious side of being in a band.
I'm good at communicating with people. Like, I'm good at being interviewed, and I'm good at talking to people and emailing people and answering show inquiries, and I'm good at doing that civilly and,
for sure.
And, you know, like Josh, our singer, who, like, so we're a 3-piece. My job is to kind of manage it, I guess. Josh or Austin, the drummer's job is to just fucking hustle social media. Like, I'll do a lot of the answering. I do all of the booking when it comes to shows. Like, especially if we're setting up a show, a lot of our shows are set up just DIY.
Yeah,
I book all the bands. I book the venue. I'm talking to the guy. I'm giving the guy money at the end of the night. Like, that's all me. And Austin does a lot of the social media stuff. And Josh, his only job is to write the music. Yeah, like, which is exactly how I want it to be. I don't want him to be inhibited by anything else.
For sure.
Please just put everything you have into the music, because Josh is like, I've seen he's my best friend. I fucking love him to death. But I've seen, like, answers to interviews where he's like, yeah, it was cool. I'm like, you're writing these, like, extremely poetic visages through song and these
for
great
sure
things.
I feel like every band has that one person. Every band has that one person.
He's like, which is cool. I mean, it's good for the band because he's like an enigma, and, like, his lyrics are so poetic and whatever. And then, like, when you meet him, he's, like, dorky and cute and whatever. But, like, yeah, my job is to, like, go out and shake hands and be businessy. And whatever. And
for sure.
Which is fine with me. I'm too much of a control freak anyway, to be honest with you. I'm way too much of a control freak to let anybody else do it. I fell into that role half on accident and half just because I'm like, no, I got it.
For sure. I think I'm that way. I'm that way as well. I think Brian's that way as well. So there's sometimes there's like this like struggle of like who's going to do what, but like it always works itself out.
The worst thing is when you're talking to the same person, but like one person is one member, and then you're the other member, and you're both like talking.
You're both emailing people back, and you're like, yeah.
Some people do that, and they manage it. Like Yabium, for instance, does that. Like Carly and Mark will both answer the same emails back and forth, and I don't know how I would.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
Like, no. I got this. This is my. It's almost like a deal. Like, no. I'm going to close this. This is mine.
This is my commission.
I got it. Dude, they're fucking awesome. Yabium and Mitchell Hellman were the two people that really made us like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah,
like,
Yabium's awesome. They're really, really good.
God, they're so good. They're one of those. I had them on too. Their episode's gonna come out on Monday.
Nice.
Well, I guess by this time it had already been out, but they're so fucking great. I came over. I went over to their house. Alicia, my girlfriend, was getting some clothes from Carly. Carly was like getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and we went over there really late. And me and Mark just like stayed up listening to music and talking shit about music, and he just dorking out all night long. The girls, like Carly and Alicia, like came up and like looked at us, and we're both like, "Oh my fucking god! I saw them in Martini Ranch in 2010," and we're both like telling like crazy stories about stuff, and they're just like fucking losers.
That's awesome. Yeah, Yabium's tight. I think it's funny. Like the first few times we pitched to them, they were just like, nah.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, this is like, ooh. We got this is too mainstream.
Really? From them?
Yeah, and then we got like, this is like, too mainstream. This is good, but not interesting enough to like break through to
at least they respond.
All the other. They're really good about responding, and that's what I love about them. And then they picked up, I think they did like reviews of 2 songs off the mainstay. And
that's cool.
Yeah, really, really good write-ups after that.
Way more than we did. They picked us up immediately, and we're like championing.
Yeah, the first few we got were like first few responses we got were like, damn. All right. Well, shit.
Yeah, Carly's a savage.
On to the next. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. We got to play their like award show. They made us like band of the year or band of the year. And it was so cool. We played with like Phoenix Afrobeat and Decker and all these like the posters like Decker, Fairybones, Tsunami Ozone.
Oh, hell yeah.
Phoenix Afrobeat with Hot Rock Superjoint fucking hosting. It was crazy. That was like the craziest show ever.
That's tight.
They're so cool. And it's like, you guys deserve that way more than we did.
No.
You guys are fucking like legitimately good musicians. Like I'm just now starting to understand music.
Yeah.
Like I'm a bass player, so but like I'm a good bass player. But at the same time, like we got an organ recently.
Hell yeah.
In the front room, and I'm finally understanding music after it's 10 years now of like playing guitar based instruments. I played drums for a long time before that. Like I'm a classically trained drummer. That's
nice.
That's what I was trained on.
That's awesome.
But like it wasn't until I got a keys based instrument that I was like, oh, now I totally get it.
Yeah.
For some reason, guitar was always like either tabs or I was like feeling out the music. But when it comes to keys, for whatever reason, that's where I was like, oh, sharps and flats, and oh god, I totally get it now.
Yeah, because you're almost like forced to.
Yeah,
like
you have to understand
with piano
some
or
theory.
Keyboard or something like that. You really do have to understand theory. Like I can get around guitar no problem, like without theory. Like I just never really understood theory until.
You sure you're not a theory guy either?
Yeah, not really. Like I honestly, like I've started restudying it recently, but I took theory in high school. Like the school that I went to had an awesome music program, huge music program. And then I went to SEC for audio production and music business, and I had to take theory as like elective. And we had to take 2 years of theory at SEC for that. And so like I knew theory very well, but the theory course was literally taught. Everybody was on a piano. Like everybody was sat down at a keyboard, learning theory. So that was really cool. But like outside of guitar, I was like, I just don't need this like for guitar. Like it's just.
Was that the first instrument that you learned was guitar?
Bass.
Really?
I was a bass player originally.
For how long?
Like 2 or 3 years.
I love bass.
I do too.
I love it, man.
I still like playing bass. My wife plays bass, so like we've got basses all over the house too. So
what kind of basses? What do you really like? What do you play?
So like
let's talk some gear.
Yeah, man. Bass wise, so I had a Fender P bass and a J bass.
Classic. The jazz basses. That's me.
My
when it comes
first,
to Fender.
My first bass was like an Ibanez, like
Same.
$200, like
yeah.
you know.
I bought my first bass from some dude in a parking lot who was just trying to buy beer. Okay, first bass was an Ibanez TR series. It was.
I think that's what I had.
They've been discontinued. Yeah. So it was like red and like natural kind of wood
for sure,
and not glossy finish or anything like that. And I wish I still had it. This kid who I knew just from school. I was like 16. He was just trying to buy beer money, or he was just trying to make beer money for that night because it was New Year's Eve.
Nice.
And it was like New Year's Eve 2009. And he's like, nah, man, I just want to I'm just selling whatever I can because I just want to get fucked up tonight. So he sold his bass to me in the Power Ranch Elementary School parking lot.
Nice.
And I took it home, and ever since then, like, bass was my dig.
Hell yeah.
Love it,
That's
man.
Awesome.
2 years in Ibanez first bases all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's what they're like known for is like everybody's first instrument. They make killer instruments. Like their high end stuff is phenomenal. But yeah, my wife plays. She's got a Fender Mustang.
Oh,
so like
Mustang
short scale.
bass?
Yeah, short scale bass.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's really sick. And then she actually has a custom bass on the way. That's being built right now by the company I'm endorsed by, Balaguer. So they're building her a bass at the moment.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do they think they're building you a bass?
No.
You're sponsored. Really?
No. Yeah. They like gave her my artist discount on it and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they it's sweet though. It's gonna be really badass. It's like it's a shell pink matte finish, like shell pink bass with a like tortoise pick guard on it.
So pretty.
It's gonna be a cool bass. But
mine isn't set up. I just have a blue sub. Like nice. I like. Music Man is like the Music Man basses are so clean
for sure. Like their instruments and their guitars in general are like just killer.
I'm all about high end on bass, which is kind of weird, but like obviously I'm a bass player, so I need my lows. I know that I exist in the low frequencies and all that kind of stuff, but my highs and my mid highs are in treble are fucking cranked.
Oh, yeah.
I like a really clean, bright, crisp, very, and I get compliments all the time. Like, oh my god, how do you get your bass on? How do you get your bass on? I was like, just crank your fucking highs.
Yeah,
like that's all I'm doing.
That's tight.
And the sub or sub / Music Man, which I guess a sub is like their Squire or whatever equivalent. For those who don't know, it's just. First time I ever played a Music Man, I was like, oh my god, this is the cleanest I've ever... Like, Fender's great. Fender is the most versatile guitar I've ever played on. It's great. But it still doesn't reach quite the high frequencies that I want. And a sub and a Music Man, I feel like, really hit those really high highs that I want. Without being too noodly.
Yeah.
Because eventually it'll just be fucking without any bass whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. One day I'd love to get like a Stingray or it's like a nice, Music Man. But they're like $1,400.
They're super
and
expensive.
The subs are only like $350.
Yeah,
so
they definitely don't cater towards like, the average musician, I guess. Like they're catering towards like the wealthy or the professionals. Like
the Fender Aerodynes are cool too. Those caught my eye.
Yeah,
those are really pretty.
I had an Aerodyne Telly back in the day.
See, Tellys are my go-to guitar. I want like a Telly. A deluxe is like my dream guitar.
Yeah, I was always a Telly guy before I switched to Balaguer. I had I had a 72 Deluxe like reissue telly. I had
the 2 humbuckers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wide ranges, and then I had a 72 thin line reissue, which is like the semi-hollow, and then I had a like made in Mexico telly, and then I built a custom telly through a company called Warmith, which is like online, like all custom built.
Got it.
You know, and just built it all out to my specs. And then pretty soon after I got that, like literally 2 weeks after I got that guitar, I signed a deal with Balaguer, and I couldn't even play it anymore. So I was like,
dude, the Balaguer, those guitars at first glance, like if I'm let's say I'm scrolling through Instagram and I just go phew and I just flick through, I would think at first glance blurry. I would think it was a telly
for sure.
And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, what the. What is that?
So they have like I've got 2 models right now. I've got 2 models of guitars. One's the Thicket, which is the telly.
Is that the white one?
Yeah. Okay. So it's an offset telly. It's
Yeah,
like a weird warped looking Telecaster.
Yeah, totally.
They do make a traditional telly body as well. For like one of their artists. Actually, one of their like endorsed artists like has his own signature guitar, and it's like a traditional telly body, but and then my other guitar is basically a Jazzmaster body, which is like theirs is like pretty true to style to the Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, the telly, their telly style is cool though. It's like a just weird warped body.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about guitar stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I've heard the brand, if I've heard that brand name or not.
They're fairly new. They're like 2014 they started.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
2014. They're growing super super fast. Joe, the owner, Joe Balaguer, is an awesome luthier. He's like, you know, worked with a major company, learned from some of the best in the industry, and just makes insane instruments. But he just started in 2014, and but it's growing very quickly, very very quickly. Their artist roster is really like gaining momentum, and they've got some huge names on it now too.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. He makes really, really awesome instruments, super high quality. Like, I can't speak highly enough of them. I love them.
I love getting lucky on gear.
Yeah,
like
it's always nice.
I bought my amp head from a pawn shop. Really, like, short notice. My amp blew out, and I needed something because we had a show like, the next day. So I just I went to a pawn shop, and I looked something up. The specs were good. Bought it for, like, I think I bought that thing for, like, $250. And I got it home and I fell in love. It's a Carvin, which is like a a boutique brand from like California or something like that. And I had no idea what it was, but it has like 4 equalizers on it. So I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. Yeah. So I took it home, fell in love with it. I've been playing it for ever since, and now I'm kind of like pretty much like diehard Carvin guy for amps, just because it's like I'm really anal about my sound, and I really want, like, especially for bass, because we're a 3-piece, the bass tone really matters. For sure. So it's like the fact that after so much time, I finally found that sound that I've always wanted. It's like, this is it. After this, if this ever blows out, I'm just gonna buy the same fucking model because it's exactly what I need. And I remember looking it up. Like, I think I bought it for like $250, and I looked it up online out of curiosity one day. I was like, I wonder how much this thing like goes for brand new, and it's like 3 times as expensive, like brand new. And I was like, oh my god, like this thing is
always
actually
a good
like
feeling.
super nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've got a GK cab, which again for bass cabs, like GK is awesome. I got so lucky on gear. It was just dumb luck. Yeah. Like the cab I got on Craigslist off some dude who swears that he was on Nuclear Blast Records or almost got close to being on Nuclear Blast Records. And then the amp I got at a fucking like Pawn Star somewhere. Nice. Or some shit. So it's like it's stupid lucky. Yeah. It's all it is. And my girlfriend bought me the bass guitar, which is so nice of her. I was playing a shitty Squire at the time. That's awesome. And
it's a good girlfriend right there.
She's awesome. She knew that I was like talented and I loved it and I did it, but like that I was just buying what I could afford or whatever. Sure. And she was making more money than I was at the time. This is years ago. And so she bought me what I thought was a hard case. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, thank you so much. And I opened up the guitar case, and there's a fucking bass inside of it. And I was like, oh my God, like someone left their bass in here. Couldn't fucking believe it.
That's awesome.
So I'm just lucky, man. I'm lucky, and I have an ear. That's it. Like, I'll never say that I'm like talented. I just have a really good ear for music, and I'm fucking lucky.
For sure.
So hopefully that luck doesn't run out. But, you know, I don't know. Music's awesome. I fucking love playing music, and I don't know all my theory, and I can't read music, but I know what sounds good.
Who needs theory?
Who needs it?
That's my outlook.
Yeah.
Who needs theory?
Is Bryant like a real theory guy?
Oh my
God. So technical? He is, right?
Yeah.
I could tell.
No, it's awesome though. Like I wish I knew theory as well as he did. Like that's why I'm like starting to dive back into it and relearn it, because him and Ricky both are like insane in theory, but like Brian's got like a different mind for theory. It's just like absolutely crazy.
That's awesome.
Half the stuff out of his mouth during practice I don't understand. So that's fun.
Yeah, I know. That's how I'll be playing around in the organ, and I'll yell. I'll be like, Lisa, what is? Because I'll look at a chord. Like I'll like when I learn songs on the organ, I'm just Googling like chords,
for sure,
guitar chords for a song, and then I'll ask her like, what does D-A-A-D-D-9 mean? And she's like, oh, it's D added diminished. And I was like, what keys do I have to play? She's like, oh, you just add the whatever note in the scale. And I'm like, okay, got it. Like, okay, got it. So that's the only theory that I know, is just because I'm like yelling like, hey,
yeah,
what note is this?
That's awesome.
So like, I don't know, I'm figuring it out slowly but surely. It's crazy. There's been people like the producer that we always work with is Matt Alderwood from Troubled Minds, and he's a close friend of ours, and we record with him, and I remember he because she's an audio engineer, and she interned for him once, and she made an off comment to him that like, I don't understand how Matt got as far as he did with knowing so little, because I don't know fucking anything. And now I'm starting to understand like, oh, the notes on the bass guitar that don't have the dots on them are the sharps or the flats, like. But like, I can play really well. I'm a good player, but I'm just like fucking useless.
That's kind of how I am too. Though. It's like I don't really like. I don't know. I got away from music for so long, and like that the theory kind of went out the door. So when I started working with Brian, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's just this and this and this and this." I'm like, "Dude, just show me. Like, I don't know what that means."
Can I be an asshole right now and ask for one of those beers? I want to taste one of these. I've been looking at them.
It's phenomenal.
And you've only gone through one so far.
It is. Because I got to drive all the way to practice after this.
Oh, you have practice? I'm sorry, I don't want to keep you.
You're good,
Fuck.
dude.
What time do you have to practice?
It's like, I don't know.
We can end it whenever you're comfortable to. Okay, sorry.
What time is it right now?
It's right now. It's 7:40.
Okay.
So whenever you want to, we can wrap this.
Probably shortly.
Yeah, shortly. We'll wrap it up. Sorry.
No, you're fine, dude. This has been awesome. It's been super fun. It's been really fun.
Ooh, this
good,
is nice.
Right? Yeah.
Lupa lines.
Yeah.
Lupu lines. King Harbor. So you're in Arcadia?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's a weird area. I know
it is. I grew up there, so it was like, well, when I'm not from Arizona. I grew up in Maryland, like right outside of DC.
When did you move here?
I was like 10 or 11. Okay, so I've lived here longer than I grew up there for, obviously. But like, we just always lived in the Arcadia area, and I've lived other places, and like, I ended up about 2 or 3 years ago, I ended up buying a place, and it just so happened, like I got a really good deal on a condo that I was more looking at as like an investment opportunity over like a long period of time. So I bought a condo in Arcadia for like way cheaper than it should have been, put some money into it, made it super nice, and then just, I'm sitting on it right now until I decide to sell it. So
that's cool.
We live in Arcadia for now.
Smart.
Probably not for much longer, but probably get out of there in the next few years.
I delivered pizzas in Scottsdale, in Old Town Scottsdale for a while. So I would hit Arcadia every once in a while.
It's an interesting area. It's like, it's super nice.
It's not is it a city or is it a suburb?
No, it's just a suburb. Right? Yeah, it's Phoenix. Or Scottsdale? It's Phoenix. It's right on the edge of Scottsdale.
Yeah, okay.
It's super nice. It's like, obviously like a pretty well-off area.
There's some shitty parts of
There
Arcadia.
are shitty parts of Arcadia for sure. But everything's kind of starting to move towards the other way. But it's a fairly safe area. Like there's not a lot of crime. There's not a lot of like, burglary or anything like that. So it's tight. It's a good spot.
That's cool, dude. Delivering, because like when I knew that it was I have to pick up. It's like, okay, so I knew that I had to pick up a second job, and I had experience working for Pizza Hut when I was like 19, delivering pizzas for a year, and that was the easiest fucking money I ever made. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to deliver pizzas again and get paid to listen to music and smoke cigarettes or whatever, then where am I going to go? Let's be pragmatic. So I was like, where's the money?
For sure.
So Old Town Scottsdale. I found a job at Pizza Hut in Old Town Scottsdale, and dude, I went to so many places that I would never in a million years have any business going to. Not just mansions, but like Hiltons.
For sure.
I went to the Phoenician Hotel.
Yep.
And the Phoenician, like there's not only is there a Phoenician hotel, but there's a Phoenician neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the hotel. And like all these fucking crazy mansions and hotels.
It's nuts.
And I would always send videos to my girlfriend. I'd always be like, holy fuck, look at this. And I was just like this gross, mangy like dude walking around these hotels. But because I have food, it's totally
For
cool.
sure.
And it was so weird seeing that part of Scottsdale. Like, I don't know, like, people always complain about rich people being stingy or whatever, but I made fucking tips doing that.
Yeah, dude, it's like there's a ton of money in there, and
I'm white and I'm blonde, whatever. Like, but I have to admit that it's part of it.
Yeah,
I will like.
It's a good area.
But like, fuck, I made money.
For sure. I like it there. Like, it's super central to everything. Is like my main thing is like it takes me 10 minutes to get to work in downtown Phoenix. It takes me 10 minutes to get anywhere in Tempe. It takes me, it's super central.
It's nice.
I dig it.
That's what's nice about living here is I'm right on the 60.
Yeah.
All I have to do is go fucking 50 feet outside of my apartment, and I can go either east or west on the 60, and I'm really close to the 10 too, and the 101. So it's a really like management. This complex isn't great, and I definitely want to buy a house, but like I could have it a lot worse. Like, like there's not that many roaches. Like we're good.
Yeah.
So, they're not that big anyway, dude.
Yeah.
Before we drive this baby home, you mentioned that you're going on a little tour, right?
We have
tour, but you're going out of town.
We are. We're going out of town to record a new record.
That's what it was.
So and then we'll probably be putting together some tours for the rest of the year after that. But we're going to Temecula.
Ooh.
In 3 weeks to record our new record. Yeah, so it's actually the guy lived in LA, just moved to Temecula. But we're recording our next record with a guy named Bo Burchell, who is the guitar player of the band Seosin.
Fuck me up.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So we're super excited about that.
God damn.
Which it just kind of all really fell into place. Bo is actually on Balaguer as well. So he is like he's the face,
Dude.
besides Joe Balaguer, he's like the face of Balaguer.
How amazing is that going to be?
Yeah. So it's crazy because like they're honestly like they were one of my favorite bands growing up and like one of my biggest influences like in playing music. And
I'm so happy for you.
So we started talking about like, we worked with Corey Spots on all of our previous EPs. We love Corey. Our EPs were awesome. We had no problems with them whatsoever. Loved them, but we just kind of wanted to look.
But he's not the guitarist of Seosin.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we wanted to look outside the box though and be like, all right, well, who, we want to work with like a producer.
Totally.
Like somebody who's going to like push the shit out of us in the studio and, like really, really make us make this the best it can be. And so sort of looking into some options. There were a few names thrown around, and then I was kind of like, well, I talked to Bo on like on Facebook Messenger or something like that a few times. I was like, I would feel comfortable reaching out to him and being like, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And so I did that, and he was like, well, what's the sound? Like, what's it, is it? And I was like, well, it's like this. He's like, no. I mean, like, does it sound anything like the Mainstay? And I was like, you listen to the Mainstay? Like, what the fuck? And so he was like, yeah, I really like that. Like, is it similar? Or are you guys going a different route? I'm like, no, it's like, it's in the same in the same boat.
Uh-huh.
And so he was like, cool, well, like, get some demos together, send them out to me, and we'll talk. So it was just a really long process getting everything set up. But it, back in October, we recorded the pre-production, sent it out to him. We waited about a month to hear back from him to see if he was like game to do it or not. So we're all sitting there like, dude, he fucking hates it. Like, we're done. Like, we gotta think of like option number 2 here. Finally, like a month goes by, he gets back to us. He's like, I'm in, let's do it. So that was really awesome. But yeah, so we're going out there March 11th. We start on the 12th, and we're there for about a week and a half recording the new record, and then we'll be back. And then we'll see what happens.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
So
we don't really have any like plans of a release date as of yet. We're just gonna kind of shop it around.
Any touring ideas for this year?
Yeah, we would like to. I've got some help on that end, on the touring side of things. One of my friends does. He's in a band in Oregon, and was just like, let me know when you guys are ready. I'll book an entire Pacific Northwest tour for you guys. So that's probably going to be the first plan. It's just like an entire like up the coast and then back down, through all those good places. So so we'll do that. Start small kind of there. We've done some light traveling and stuff like that, but just kind of got held back by jobs, honestly.
Yeah.
But we're kind of all in a place now where like we can do this. So this past year we did California quite a few times and like went through California and stuff, but we all kind of ran out of vacation time.
I always tell people this on the podcast, so I'm sure listeners are sick of it. But if you need hookups in Colorado, I have fucking hookups in Colorado.
I'll take them.
I have, like, you hit me up if you guys ever want to go to Colorado. You hit me up and I'll hook you up because I've got fucking people in Colorado who like we toured. We did a tour when we released our album where we just went. All we did was Colorado.
Yeah,
we went up the whole state.
Colorado's awesome, dude.
We did Colorado Springs in the south end. We did Denver in the middle, and we did Fort Collins in the north.
For sure.
And all 3 shows, we fucking came back with money on a tour.
Yeah.
On a tour.
That's awesome.
Like, as a fucking small band who nobody knows, we were able to make profit and play to people and have a great time. And motherfucker,
one of the best shows I've ever played in my life was Pueblo, Colorado.
Dude, Pueblo's fucking weird.
It's super weird.
Oh my god.
But
it's not even a real town. It's like a municipal.
It's super
county.
weird.
It's weird.
We played the last tour I went on. I think I was like 20 years old, and we played 3 cities in Colorado. We did Colorado Springs, downtown Denver, and then we did Pueblo on the way out. And I will say though, that entire town showed up to the show, and we sold thousands of dollars worth of merchandise that night, dude.
God.
Like everybody just wanted merchandise. Nobody had ever heard of us. Like we were nobody, but the entire venue was packed. Sold.
There's a venue there. We pulled up into Pueblo. And we were
it was
like,
a bar.
What the fuck
it was
is this?
It was a bar that was built in an old car garage. And it was like pretty large though. It was pretty big. And but yeah, we just played like right in the bar, but the whole place was like completely packed. It was probably the only thing going on that night in the town.
Dude, that's the thing that my friends in Fort Collins always tell me that they play Wyoming.
Nice.
Because you go to Wyoming and all of the kids show up.
For sure.
Which is why like we got an offer and for some reason it didn't end up happening, but we got an offer for a house show in Payson. And I was like, dude, that's absolutely where I want to play.
Yeah.
Because all the fucking kids are going to come out and have a great
For
time.
sure.
Because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pueblo. We pulled into Pueblo and we were like, "Is this Colorado? This is what John Denver's been singing about these last fucking like, really?" And then we hit like Colorado Springs and Denver, and we were like, "Oh,
for sure,
this is Colorado."
Yeah, you're
Pueblo's
like in the boonies,
weird.
like in Pueblo.
It's
an old mining town. It's just like
Yeah, I feel like Pueblo could have technically been New Mexico.
Yeah.
It feels
Oh,
more
dude, I
like
was
New
literally
Mexico.
just thinking that. I just didn't say it because I was like, I don't know.
It feels more new. I'll say it.
It looks like New Mexico.
It does. I feel like until you hit Denver, honestly, even Colorado Springs feels more like New Mexico plus.
For sure.
Like
For sure.
New Mexico plus legal weed.
Yeah.
It's a weird spot, but dude, fucking thank you so much.
Dude,
coming
thanks for
on and
having me.
a
It's
great
been
time.
awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
This is great. I really appreciate it.
Time went by super fast.
Yeah, it did.
Good time talking.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm super excited for everything that you guys have up coming in the future. I'm happy that you're fucking here, motherfucker. L West on the podcast. Thank you so much. Maybe one day I'll track down Bryant and we'll
get him in here.
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll do it. But yeah, for real. And I've told this to people before, man. But like, you ever want to if you got something to hype, you want to come on the show, like let me know.
Hell yeah.
I'm not a one and doneer.
Awesome,
like,
man.
If I enjoy you and we have a good time, fucking come on, bring the boys.
Very cool.
We'll
we'll have to bring the whole band on.
Yeah, let's do it.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening. As you know, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, like. If you're listening, if you're listening to the show, I appreciate you and I love you. You already know that. I talk about it all the time on Instagram and whatnot. But I've got some fucking guests lined up after this. You don't even know. So stay tuned. If you guys really enjoy the show and you like, especially local music, I've got some fucking shit going on.
Sick.
So anyway, you guys know how to find me. Let me know. Hit up L West. They're wonderful. They're fantastic musicians. So yeah, there we go. Get stoked. Aw, shit, look at that. The episode's over, man. We're done. Episode is finished. Luckily, though, there are plenty of other older episodes hanging around the internet anywhere you'd like to find podcasts. iTunes, podcast apps like Stitcher or Podcast Addict for either the iPhone or the Android. My official Podbean website. I'm fucking everywhere, man. I'm building an empire. Let's take over the fucking world. Anyway, if you've made it this far, I truly appreciate you and encourage you to please reach out and say hello. I'm serious about this, guys. I really want to connect with my listeners. So whether you want to come on the show or not, drop me a line. Hit me an email at gettingstokedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's it, man. Thank you guys so much for listening. It really, I know I harp on it so much, but it really, truly means everything. So thank you. Get stoked.